Johnathan Hillstrand isn't just another name on Deadliest Catch. For years, he commanded the Bering Sea with a fierce intensity and courage that could tame the wildest storms. To fans, he's the unyielding captain of the time Bandit, a vessel as legendary as the man himself. But behind the thrilling voyages and televised triumphs, there were murmurs, warnings from crew members who spoke in hushed tones on the docks, sharing tales the cameras never captured. Now, with recent revelations coming to light, those whispers are proving true. Join us as we dive into the life of Johnathan Hillstrand and uncover the truths they warned us about. Early life of Johnathan Hillstrand. My dad would sail off into the sunset, like some cowboy riding out of a western, leaving me surrounded by the womenfolk. Johnathan Hillstrand came into the world on August 5, 1962, in the rugged coastal town of Homer, Alaska, nestled on the untamed shores of Ketchimak Bay. The sea wasn't just a backdrop, it was the heartbeat of his existence, shaping him and his family from his earliest steps. Born into a brood of 5 boys, David, Michael, Neil, and Andy, Johnathan was steeped in a fishing dynasty. Their father, John Hillstrand Sr., a weathered commercial fisherman, demanded resilience, accountability, and reverence for the ocean's power. The Hillstrand boys grew up breathing salt air, surrounded by the creak of boat timbers and the relentless pull of the tides. From childhood, they were fixtures on the docks, watching vessels unload glistening crab, hauling traps, and mending gear under their father's stern gaze. At just 3 years old, Johnathan tagged along on his father's fishing trips, often with brothers Andy and Neil in tow. One vivid memory stands out: a stormy night aboard a tugboat where sobbing Andy, barely a toddler, triggered panic. Fearing for their safety, John Sr. hurled Johnathan back into his bunk, barking at him to stay put. That moment seared itself into Jonathan's mind, revealing not just the sea's ferocity, but his father's quiet terror. These early brushes with danger instilled a lifelong respect for the ocean's might. Johnathan, Neil, and Andy were inseparable, their childhood a blend of teamwork and roughhousing. Johnathan often recalled their wild games, stuffing socks with stones for mock battles, hurling rocks, or daring each other in reckless stunts like scaling cliffs or riding cobbled-together motorcycles. These antics honed their ability to embrace risk while reveling in the thrill. The brothers' dynamic was a mix of camaraderie and rivalry. Andy, fiery and impulsive, goaded Johnathan and Neil into pranks and challenges, testing their grit and skill. Yet beneath the competition lay a fierce loyalty. Johnathan often shared a story of leaping from a boat onto a beach, only to shatter his ankle and wrist. Around the same time, Andy survived a motorcycle crash that broke his ribs and back. The brothers, laughing through the pain, joked they'd burned through half their 9 lives. These shared trials forged an unbreakable bond. A near catastrophe on Ketchimak Bay cemented their understanding of the sea's dual nature: adventure and peril. As boys, Johnathan and his brothers took a small sailboat miles offshore, only to discover a hole in its hull. With no life vests, the boat sank, leaving them floundering in frigid waters. By sheer luck, their Sunday school teacher, passing in a skiff, spotted and rescued them. That harrowing lesson underscored the fine line between freedom and disaster. Homer in the 1960s and 70s was a raw, close-knit town of gravel roads and hard-working families. The Hillstrand home was modest, devoid of luxury, but rich in lessons of labor and grit. By age 7, Johnathan was fishing solo, adept at handling gear, nets, and fish. He mastered the nuances of tides and weather, tasks most children couldn't fathom. Though rooted in Alaska, Johnathan's youth included stints elsewhere, living in New York and attending Coeur d'Alene High School in Idaho, graduating in the early 1980s. Formal education took a back seat to the sea's call. By 17, he was a full-time fisherman, joining his brothers in the family trade. They endured grueling hours, battered by injuries and icy nights, but their bond held firm. John Sr. was a tough but devoted mentor, pushing independence while teaching accountability. His faith in his sons allowed them to learn through trial, even when it meant flirting with danger. Beyond Alaska, Johnathan cut his teeth in New England's lobster fisheries, facing brutal Atlantic storms and mastering new vessels, marine life, and regulations. These experiences sharpened his instincts, preparing him for the Bering Sea's merciless challenges. By adulthood, Johnathan was a seasoned mariner, his identity forged in the crucible of a demanding, exhilarating childhood. Career before Deadliest Catch. It takes us a week just to reach the grounds. That journey's an adventure in itself. Long before Deadliest Catch immortalized him, Johnathan Hillstrand's career was a saga of endurance and skill in Alaska's unforgiving waters. Fishing was the family legacy, passed from his grandfather to his father, John Sr., and then to Johnathan, Neil, and Andy. Homer's tight-knit fishing community, veterans like the Petersons and Sullivans, mentored the young Hillstrands, sharing crab fishing secrets and safety wisdom. These connections were lifelines in a trade where errors could be deadly. In his late teens and early 20s, Johnathan transitioned from family boats to commercial crews in the Gulf of Alaska and Bering Sea. Starting as a deckhand, he tackled the back-breaking work of setting traps, mending nets, and maintaining gear. Alongside Neil and Andy, he honed the precise timing needed for crab seasons, where every move counted. Mentors like Captains Paul Anderson and Jim Mullins taught him to read weather patterns, a critical skill in the Bering Sea's volatile conditions. Johnathan learned to navigate ice fields and storms, developing a seaman's intuition. By the late 1980s, his reputation earned him roles as a mate and assistant captain, managing crews and navigation. These early leadership stints on smaller vessels let him hone his command without the pressure of massive operations. The early 1990s marked a turning point with the purchase of the F/V Time Bandit, a 113-foot steel crabber built for the Bering Sea's riggers. The Hillstrands pooled resources and took loans to equip it with cutting-edge gear, dual Cummins engines, heavy-duty hydraulics, and a knuckle-boom crane. The Time Bandit wasn't just a boat. It was a bold stake in the high-stakes crab fishery. Johnathan and Andy split duties. Johnathan captained, while Andy handled maintenance and logistics. Their synergy made the Time Bandit a force. Crab seasons, lasting mere weeks, demanded 18 to 20-hour days on icy, pitching decks. Johnathan balanced pushing his crew for big hauls with ensuring their safety, earning respect for his calm under pressure. In 1995, a blizzard trapped boats, but Johnathan's risky call to stay out longer secured a record catch, cementing his reputation as a daring yet calculated leader. The industry's volatility, crab price swings, international competition, and regulatory shifts tested his savvy. Johnathan timed trips to maximize profits, built ties with buyers, and adapted to new quotas and safety rules. He upgraded the Time Bandit proactively, installing advanced safety gear, and joined fisheries organizations to advocate for sustainability. He also mentored young fishermen, passing down skills to preserve the trade. By the late 1990s, the Hillstrands operation was a well-oiled machine, with Johnathan a respected figure in Alaska's fishing world. The Deadliest Catch in the late 1990s, producer Tom Beers, captivated by raw, dangerous jobs, discovered crab fishing while filming Extreme Alaska. A planned short segment turned into a 10-day ordeal when storms sank boats and claimed lives, revealing a story too gripping for a mere clip. This birthed Deadliest Catch, a documentary reality hybrid premiering on Discovery Channel in 2005. Early stars like Sig Hansen, F/V Northwestern, Phil Harris, F/V Cornelia Marie, and Keith Colburn, F/V Wizard, set the tone with their distinct styles. Johnathan and the Time Bandit joined in 2006, during Season 2, bringing raw intensity. Viewers saw a captain forged by decades at sea, his decisions carrying the weight of experience. The Time Bandit, built for brutal conditions, showcased Johnathan's bold style, pushing through ice for big rewards. Early episodes highlighted his knack for balancing risk and safety while navigating the TV format's demand for drama. His brash humor and willingness to gamble made him a fan favorite. Not every season was a triumph. The 2013 Opilio crab season was a low point. Ice blocked grounds, the Time Bandit took damage, and crew morale plummeted. Yet, Johnathan's ability to coexist with nature, not just battle it, resonated with audiences. The 2017 episode, Johnathan Hillstrand Legacy, captured his emotional grapple with retirement, citing the Time Bandit's wear, crew exhaustion, and rising costs. In the Blaze of Glory finale, he chased one last massive haul, ignoring faulty survey maps and trusting old fishing grounds. Burning a misleading survey in the wheelhouse, he relied on instinct, leading to a triumphant catch. As he left the deck, flares and applause from his crew and fans marked a bittersweet farewell. Johnathan stepped back from king and Opilio crab, but never quit fishing. In 2020, he returned on Deadliest Catch, fishing on the F/V saga with Jake Anderson to preserve his quota rights, which could lapse if unused. In Season 20, a reopened king crab fishery introduced a derby-style race, and Johnathan aimed for a big quota to cement his legacy. In Season 21, he teamed with Sig Hansen on the Time Bandit, fishing the remote Adak Island waters, a logistical nightmare, but a testament to his relentless drive. Challenges marred his journey. In 2010, Discovery sued Johnathan and Andy for $3 million, alleging breach of contract for not filming a spin-off and skipping interviews. The brothers, with Sig Hansen, briefly quit in protest over scheduling and fairness disputes. The rift eventually healed. Another blow came when a crew member lost a hand and forearm in a firework explosion tied to the Hillstrand's fireworks business, leading to a $1.4 million settlement. Despite these trials, Johnathan's resilience shone through, inspiring fans worldwide. Johnathan's personal life mirrors the turbulent seas he navigated. Before Deadliest Catch, he was married, though details of his first wife remain private. The marriage produced 2 children, Scott, born June 27, 1982, in Homer, and a daughter, Ty, about whom little is known. Scott worked on the Time Bandit from his teens, learning the ropes, but a falling out with Andy led to his removal from the crew, the reasons kept private. The fishing life's long absences strained Johnathan's first marriage, ending in divorce. In 2017, Johnathan married Heather Hamilton, whom he met at church. Their bond grew over years, culminating in a Las Vegas wedding on November 4, 2017. Heather brought 3 daughters from a prior marriage, creating a blended family with grandchildren, including Scott's son, Sawyer. Heather embraced Johnathan's demanding career, appearing with him at events and supporting his ventures, their marriage thriving despite the challenges. The net worth the sea built Johnathan's legacy and wealth. His net worth, estimated at $2.20 to $3 million, reflects earnings from Deadliest Catch, his Time Bandit share, and side ventures. The Time Bandit, a $3 million asset co-owned with Andy and Neil, is a cornerstone. Fishing profits vary wildly, $150,000 to $200,000 in strong seasons, while TV appearances add $25,000 to $50,000 per episode. His book, Time Bandit, 2 Brothers, the Bering Sea, and one of the world's deadliest jobs, and ventures like Time Bandit fireworks and gear bolster income. Costs, engine failures, fuel, crew wages, and legal battles cut deep. But Johnathan's legacy as a fisherman and icon endures beyond dollars. What we've learned Johnathan Hillstrand's life is a testament to grit, loyalty, and living on nature's terms. His journey, from a boy shaped by Homer's docks to a Bering Sea legend, shows the power of family, resilience, and instinct. Share your thoughts on Jonathan's story in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more, and check out the videos on your screen.